I never had any thoughts of doing anything else than working in the family business until I was just about done school, or just in my last year of university. And my father spoke to me about, you don't have to come back to the company. So I left that industry and I moved to a completely different industry, which was in product development, making nutritional supplements. I traveled around North America to different manufacturing facilities, seeing how different products were made. But in my mind, I was always coming back to Bobcaygeon.
Good morning, folks. Thanks for tuning in to Moose 102, the anthem of the Kawartha Lakes. With temperatures reaching up to 25 degrees and sunny, looks like we've got ourselves another perfect summer day here in Bobcaygeon. We'd like to take a quick moment to congratulate Kawartha Dairy on the opening of their newest store out on the west coast of British Columbia, their first location outside Ontario. Stay tuned for some classic rock to keep your day rolling right here in the Kawartha Lakes.
Kawartha Dairy wouldn't be Kawartha Dairy if it was any other community. I firmly believe that. It's that love for every bit and every part of Bobcaygeon and the families who have worked at Kawartha Dairy that has made it what it is today. Kawartha Dairy wouldn't be Kawartha Dairy if there wasn't a Bobcaygeon involved in it.
Ontario, Canada is home to many beautiful cottage country towns. But one in particular stands apart, Bobcaygeon. A hub of the Kawartha Lakes, this charming town is made up of 3 islands connecting Sturgeon and Pigeon Lake along the historic Trent-Severn Waterway. And yet, what Bobcaygeon may be best known for is Kawartha Dairy, serving locally made ice cream to cottage country for generations, from Bobcaygeon's own Crow family.
The Crow family has been in the Kawartha areas for 7 or 8 generations. I mean, the mid-1800s. And so the family grew over the generations, and Grandpa's family ended up running a resort on Pigeon Lake. Grandpa spent a lot of time in that customer service environment, so he had a good sense of how to service people and being very customer oriented. Whereas grandmother's family, similar story, been here for many generations, but we're really much more of a farming family. You had Grandpa coming from that customer service side. Grandma's coming from a hardworking farm family, and they got together, and that's where it all started.
As you leave Toronto and head north to cottage country this weekend, be sure to stop at the one and only Kawartha Dairy, now offering new flavors of ice cream such as raspberry, chocolate, and butterscotch ripple.
The company started as Kawartha Dairy in 1937. When my grandparents bought a farm with a small dairy operation in Bobcaygeon.
Grandpa was working at Oshawa Dairy at the time. He started as a bottle washer. And I think it was just an opportunity for something he was familiar with to work back home.
They got cans of milk from local farms, and they would bottle it and deliver it to people in and around Bobcaygeon.
I've never seen anyone work as hard as Isla and Jack Crow did, especially Isla Crow. She worked night and day and always saying, get to the kids, get to work. But she was just quite an amazing woman.
Jack was a gregarious person who was really good with people. He was a dreamer, he was a builder. Isla Crow was the doer, and she was the one that made things work. You always stood up a little straighter when you were around Isla Crow, because she had high expectations of you. I started at Kawartha Dairy when I was 11, and I worked till I was about 19. I came back 6 years ago. So in total, I've worked at Kawartha Dairy for about 15 years. I think the experience of working at Kawartha Dairy is really rooted in the strong family-based small-town values that Jack and Isla started back in 1937. And it's important to us and everyone who works at Kawartha Dairy that we all understand where we're coming from, where we're going, and the values in which we do our work.
As the milk continued to grow, Grandpa would have more and more cream as a byproduct. There was a small guy around the block from where Grandpa had the dairy called Boba Cage Ice Cream. He thought that was just a really interesting product and an interesting way to use this cream. He went and took a course at University of Guelph on ice cream manufacturing and how to make it, and started in the 50s that way.
That was where he developed the recipe for the ice cream that we still use to this day.
Through the 50s and 60s, the ice cream was made exclusively by hand, just in the summertime.
We delivered a little bit in the summertime to some resorts around Bobcaygeon. Eventually, my brother Don, he started a route up around Minden and Halliburton, and then eventually moved up there. My brother Don and his wife Opal started the store in Minden. Opal was very much like my mother. She worked hard and she drove trucks some days when they needed to be done, and they ended up with 5 boys who all were involved in the business.
The Bobcaygeon store outsold the Minden store 10 months of the year, but when you add in the 2 months in summer, it's just blowing the Bobcaygeon store away.
The biggest customer we had for selling ice cream was our own Minden store.
Product was shipped from Bobcaygeon to Minden, and then Minden had its own delivery routes and its own customers. I guess the most surprising thing was it didn't stop the lineups. I still can't believe that people will line up as long as they do to get an ice cream book.
We knew people liked the ice cream, and they would go to Minden and Bobcaygeon to pick it up and, on their way to cottages. But we didn't have a lot of presence really in and outside of the Kawartha and Halliburton regions.
When I started, there was just the dairy in Bobcaygeon and Minden. And then we bought a dairy out in Bancroft. Then it just started to progress from there.
You're starting to get into the 80s. Milk business is changing. The home delivery aspect of dairies was kind of disappearing. So the company had to evolve with it.
We went from delivering milk every day to the houses. Finally, it was down to about once a week because the milk would keep that long with the new refrigeration.
They started doing more distribution of other products. We got into milk and eggs and butter. We were distributing juice. I think we distributed frozen foods at one time. Anything to keep business going through the company. So these are how the dairy survived through those years until the ice cream was really getting recognition. As things continued to grow and we got a little more exposure, that snowball started turning and just picking up a little more snow and just kind of growing that way.
are things today?
They couldn't match the prices of the big dairies for milk, so they had to make sure that the service was the best.
That would be great. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a great day.
When I was a kid, there was lots of dairies still operating in Ontario, and they slowly but surely were being bought up by the larger dairies. Kawartha was one of the exceptions. I think it gets back to that loyalty between the community and the dairy and the dairy and the community. I worked with all the generations of the Crows up until now, and there's subtle differences, but that family structure, it's still there. They still have that pride. Like Jack and Isla were incredibly proud of what they had built. And I think the second, the third, even the fourth generation, they're just as proud of that name, and they just want to expand on what Jack and Isla actually started. It's worked out really well for them. It's one of the best known ice creams in Ontario.
Take some time now to see just how Kawartha Dairy prepares the quality processed milk products it's become so famous for. Milking machines are attached and milk is pumped through a pipeline system to the storage tank, while it awaits pickup by Kawartha Dairy.
Getting into the 90s, we started getting competition for those distribution areas into camps and restaurants through food service companies now. Just like Grandpa's always did through the years, we had to reinvent some parts of the business to keep going.
The technology advanced, the refrigeration advanced, the quality of the milk that we were receiving, it advanced. Ontario probably has as good of dairy cattle, or maybe better, than any cattle in the world.
I think it's the freshest ice cream you can get. It's made with fresh milk, fresh cream right from the farm. In many cases, cows are getting milked in the morning. We're receiving it at lunch, and we're packaging it by the end of the day. And in some cases, that milk can be on the shelf at a store the very next morning.
With Kawartha, we were always concentrating on quality.
Everyone is so proud of the quality that Kawartha Dairy reputationally has. We're still faithful to making ice cream the way Grandpa used to make it.
Back in the late 90s, the Crow family brought in an external general manager who brought in strong marketing and sales capabilities. His name was Blake Fraser. He was able to take what the Crow family had built up over many generations and many decades and build on it. I think through branding changes, packaging changes, building relationships with larger customers, really took Kawartha Dairy to that next level. He was able to modernize the brand, was able to see opportunities around what ice cream could bring to the business.
If you see the old pictures, we were always a cream-colored truck with red writing on it. Well, we became a blue and cream-colored company, and we changed the logo. This was the evolution of the brand, where we really started focusing on the ice cream as the future of Kawartha Dairy. And that's continued to move forward through the 2000s into the 2020s. This is a close-knit community. There's a lot of families that have been here for many generations. And I think it's understood that we're there to support each other.
This hour, we begin with the breaking news from the Pinecrest Nursing Home in Bobcaygeon, Ontario. There are new numbers this hour.
We had one of the earliest long-term care breakouts at Pinecrest Nursing Home. And a lot of us had family members who were in Pinecrest and unfortunately were impacted by COVID-19. So it was a very difficult time for us as a family and as a community. We were an essential business, supplying milk to communities all over Ontario. We were still something that somebody could do by going to one of our stores to take their family for ice cream. And so we saw our business significantly grow. Our milk business doubled overnight. And I continue to be so impressed by our employees who stepped up to the plate and was able to serve our communities with milk when a lot of other companies couldn't. I am so proud of how the Crow family supported our employees, how the employees supported Crow family, but most importantly, how the Crow family and Kawartha Dairy supported Bobcaygeon, from which they serve.
We're a family, oriented organization. We treat our employees like extensions of our family, like we always have.
My name's John Kane. I've been at Kawartha Dairy for just over 9 years.
My name is Paul Smith. I have been here 24 years.
My name's Jason. I've worked at Kawartha Dairy for about 15 years now.
The Crow family, they really care about the employees.
Kawartha Dairy is an amazing place to work. It really is. The family values here are really the best thing.
My dad used to work here. He got me a job here, and I've been here for a good chunk of my life.
My name is Mike Murphy. I've been at the dairy for 17 years full-time. For me, being a delivery driver for Kawartha Dairy means a lot, but also because of my background, my history of the company, I'm bringing the product that I grew up around, that I helped build, and bringing that joy and that passion to all my customers.
I can remember pulling over and delivering and having people pull me away from my job to tell me how much they love Kawartha Dairy and how great our ice cream is. I honestly felt like it's not a joke. I felt like a superhero because everybody loved our stuff.
I'm proud of where we started, proud of where we were, and I'm proud of where they're going. I think they're going to really have a name for themselves.
If you took Jack and Isla on a tour of the plant today and the distribution center, what do you think they'd be thinking?
They would be so proud. It meant a lot to them, and it would mean a lot. I'm sorry.
Kawartha Dairy wouldn't be Kawartha Dairy if it was in any other community. It's that love for every bit and every part of Bobcaygeon, Kawartha Dairy, the Crow family, all the people, all the families who have worked at Kawartha Dairy that has made it what it is today. Kawartha Dairy wouldn't be Kawartha Dairy if there wasn't a Bobcaygeon involved in it.
Good morning, all on the BC coast. Hope you are all having yourself a wonderful start to the day. We want to kick off the day by welcoming the Kawartha Dairy from Bobcaygeon, Ontario, as they open up their first store outside of their home province right here in Britannia Beach. We highly recommend the Moose Tracks or Death by Chocolate ice cream. To celebrate, here's the hit song Bobcaygeon by the Tragically Hip.
This morning was a little loud.